Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Lawyers Learning Center with DHIA podcast. Today, we are talking about the benefits of managed IT services for small law firms. We invite you to tune in every Thursday as we continue to cover productizing legal services, legal case management software, business development planning, asking for referrals and testimonials, billing challenges, alternative fee arrangements, marketing tools, and more this season. Subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Comment with your thoughts so we can share more of what's important to you. Benefits of managed IT services for small law firms. Times have changed. The tools are better, and small companies can finally have big company IT expertise. Managing expenses is critical for small law firms and small businesses. But you can't neglect cybersecurity and basic effectiveness of your IT systems. You're not making any money when your computer is crawling or if your data is ransomed. Plan for success, and that starts with knowing your options. Zac Wilcoxen runs Pretect Managed IT Services. He brings big company IT expertise to small businesses, even solo practitioner law firms. Zac sat down for an interview and answered the following questions. What's the role of the IT team in a cyber attack? Is a managed IT service worth the cost? What are the services offered by a managed IT provider? How does a managed IT provider increase efficiency? Is there a way to calculate the cost of downtime from a ransomware attack? How does a managed IT provider work with remote employees? What's the role of the IT team in a cyber attack? CEOs and presidents of companies often don't want to get involved until the IT team has confirmed there's an issue. But employees can get concerned that they've been compromised when they may not have been. That's where the IT team comes in. The IT team can handle the problem and confirm if there really has or not has been a breach before the head of the company is bothered with it. The IT team creates an escalation protocol and becomes the employee's first point of contact if they feel they've been compromised. They have the most insight into the infrastructure and can most quickly identify whether they've been hit or not. If so, the IT team can typically eliminate the threat, restore the data, and get things back to normal before notifying the business owner. Is a managed IT service worth the cost? If you're a small law firm, you're probably not hiring an in-house IT person because that doesn't really make sense. There isn't enough job there to justify paying a system administrator who is going to cost about $60,000 per year. That's where managed IT providers like Pretect come in. We do it much more reasonably as a third party. Typically, fees range from $75 to $125 per user per month, which includes patch management, help desk support, endpoint security, and proactive asset monitoring. You will also want to consider additional infrastructure, such as business continuity. With proactive asset monitoring, our systems will keep an eye on your computer's vitals and notify our team when any red flags arise. For instance, if your computer is running at 100% CPU for an extended period of time, our team will reach out to assist. Oftentimes, before the end user even knows there's an issue. This keeps things running smoothly and efficiently. While I strongly recommend that even the smallest of organizations hire a managed IT provider, some will choose to do it themselves. For these folks, I strongly recommend they educate themselves as much as possible on business continuity so they can mitigate their cybersecurity risk. The question is, how much risk are you willing to endure? And the key is to minimize your risk while trying to stay within the IT budget. Just keep the long view in mind. After you get hit by a cyber attack, managed IT services look cheaper with hindsight. What are the services offered by a managed IT provider? It depends on the needs and the preferences of the company. but there is a wide range of IT services that can be offered. A managed IT provider can offer infrastructure, patch management, help desk support, endpoint security, consulting, business continuity, asset monitoring, vendor management, and more. A managed IT provider might tweak what is done based on the size of the business and the type of work they do. A very important duty, especially for law firms, is applying remote patches. New viruses, malware, and spyware are constantly causing problems. With remote patch management, a managed IT provider can install updates on any software or device within the network. They can monitor which assets are updated and which are not, allowing the IT provider to stay on top of vulnerabilities and make sure they are all patched before they cause serious issues. For instance, let's say there's a new vulnerability that just came out in the last week or two. It's already been patched by Windows. Who on your current team is making sure that patch gets deployed? Every week, there are new vulnerabilities that are discovered. It's imperative to make sure all assets in the firm stay up to date. If you don't have somebody, either an internal IT team or a managed IT firm, the likelihood of your security vulnerabilities are much higher than they would be otherwise. How does a managed IT provider increase efficiency? A business needs to know if and why their technology isn't operating at optimal levels. This is why monitoring processes are vitally important. It is common for processes to be stuck and cause a computer system to slow down or stop functioning altogether, which causes the workflow to be slower than it should be. A managed IT provider can easily find where the process is stuck, stop it, and allow the CPU to resume to its top speed. All of that can be done remotely. Monitoring is like having an IT team that's looking over your shoulder to assist in any way they can. Ransomware causes a serious loss of productivity if it's not caught right away or properly managed. The loss of productivity comes from having to restore the backed up data from another server and reinstall the necessary applications. Without an IT business continuity plan, that can take several hours or up to several days to complete. That entire time, no one is able to work. We create business continuity plans that reduce that time to minutes instead of hours or days. A business continuity plan involves a virtual machine that runs continuously in congruency with your core infrastructure. It backs up frequently, typically every 15 minutes. In the event that ransomware hits your main application server, we can simply change that hostname of the virtual machine to the hostname of what was that main application server. So you can take what could have been a multiple hour or multiple day downtime and turn it into a few minutes of downtime so the wheels can keep turning. Is there a way to calculate the cost of downtime from a ransomware attack? We provide prospective clients with a downtime calculator that shows how much they will save if they have a continuity plan in place. It considers the number of employees as well as other variables. They can see for themselves the cost if they were to be shut down. Yes, a business continuity plan is an investment. But in the event of something like a cyber attack happening, it saves so much money on the back end. You don't have lost revenue. You're not paying employees while they're not working. All of these things add up. There will be a link in the description to the downtime calculator. We encourage you to go see what it would cost you if you were to be shut down by a ransomware attack. How does a managed IT provider work with remote employees? The pandemic supercharged the work from home model. But working from home creates a false sense of security. It's still important that employees lock their computer if they step away. This keeps kids and others from clicking on a malicious link and inviting a cyber attack. Kids are especially susceptible to vulnerabilities. They often download malware or spyware while they're just trying to play a game. Expect workers to work in coffee shops or other public locations. This is when you really need your IT team. They should be set up with a VPN, proper endpoint security, and DNS filtering. The DNS filter identifies and blocks malicious IP addresses. An emerging problem with public networks is a phishing technique called evil twins. This is when a copycat of a well-known network is created by a hacker. If you're not paying close attention, you won't see that there are two networks with the same name. If you mistakenly connect to the evil twin, the hackers can extract passwords, sensitive information, or anything you don't want others to see. Summary. Times have changed. We are living in the era of more cyber threats. But we're also in the era where small businesses and solo practitioners can have big company IT expertise. Managed IT companies help you navigate these times with a level of sophistication that was previously out of reach. They monitor your computers to identify and fix performance issues without having to call IT. They also provide risk mitigation strategies for the eventual cyber attack. Because it's not if, but rather it's when you get hit. Plan in advance and keep your business running and generating revenue. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Lawyers Learning Center with DHIA podcast. If you found this information useful, please subscribe and share. We invite you to share your biggest takeaway in the comments, ask a question, or suggest a subject you'd like to hear. Your feedback will help us achieve our mission to keep our topics relevant for you. Tune in next Thursday as we discuss business development planning for law firms.